Hi, my name is Christina Clem. I work with the AARP Washington State Office. I'm glad to be with you today. It's clear that family caregivers face significant challenges when it comes to caring for their loved ones. That includes physical, emotional, and certainly financial pressures. Now, November is Family Caregivers Month, and while AARP is a fierce advocate year round, we are pausing today to honor Washington's 820,000 unpaid family caregivers and share some information and resources that are available to them in their caregiving journey. Today, I'd like to welcome Louise Ryan with the Administration for Community Living. It's a division of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Hi, Louise. Thank you for
Hi,
joining us
Christina.
today.
Thank
Hi.
you.
I'm willing to bet that Washingtonians likely don't know about the Administration for Community Living. Can you give us kind of a brief overview of what it does and why it was created?
Sure. The Administration for Community Living was created out of several small divisions at Health and Human Services, and our focus is to support people to live in community. And in particular, we're looking at supporting older adults and people with disabilities. And we have a vision that all people, regardless of age and disability, live with dignity, make their own choices, and participate fully in society with the goal to help people stay at home and in their community.
Let's talk a little bit about what it means to be a family caregiver.
Yeah, sure. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm not a caregiver because I'm only, taking my mom to her doctor's appointments and doing her grocery shopping and paying her bills. And yet all of that is part of family caregiving. So there's a whole range of who is a caregiver and a whole range in terms of the amount of time and energy that it takes when you're a caregiver.
So, one of the reasons we're going to talk about today is the Administration for Community Living actually has resources out there, we know, for the family caregivers. What are some resources that are out there for people who need care? And then also, those family caregivers who might need some help during their kind of caregiving journey.
We offer a range of services to typically people over age 60. The most well known are things like our home delivered meals or Meals on Wheels, congregate meals that might be offered at a senior center. Transportation is another a big one. In-home care. You need somebody who can just come in and do some chore services, or maybe help you with some personal care. So those are some common examples. And then when it comes to support for caregivers, information and assistance, typically offered through the area agencies on aging or the Aging and Disability Resource Center. And that is another big part of what we offer through the Older Americans Act.
There are several, I think, best kept secrets when it comes to some of these resources for
Yeah.
family caregivers. One, the area agencies on aging, which are in the state of Washington. They're regionals, and you can just Google area agency on aging, and they can provide resources. But then I know through the Administration for Community Living, you guys have a couple, you have like a website and a couple of like phone numbers and that people can call to get assistance. Can you tell us a little bit about what those are, what they can do?
We have what's called the Elder Care Locator, and you can go to eldercare.gov and put in your zip code and find out what resources are available locally. You can also call them at 800-677-1116 and talk to a person, and then also get connected to your local area agency on aging or Aging and Disability Resource Center.
What if you go into the eldercare.gov site and put your zip code in? What are some things that might pop up?
What will pop up are, your information and assistance number. or you might see what are the common resources in your area. It could include the senior centers, would include maybe some of the in-home care agencies, transportation, especially looking at specialized transportation. So those are some typical examples of what you would see. And then again, if you're looking for something specific, you can do some like keyword searches too.
Now there are, I know there's another hotline that we had talked about because we talk about there's a spectrum of caregiving, and
Mhm.
it can be something like someone's recovering for a few months and he needs some help, but then they have like some longer term things when people might be experiencing different kind of dementias. And I know that you had mentioned that there's a resource
Mhm.
there as well.
There's a national Alzheimer's call center number, and that is, again, something that ACL funds in coordination with the Alzheimer's Association. And that number is 800-272-3900. And they can, again, answer questions that you have about Alzheimer's disease, local supports, your kind of local Alzheimer's supports and support groups. So that would be another great place to call if you are supporting a loved one who is, experiencing memory loss or other cognitive challenges.
I know, you've had some of your own caregiving journey with
Mhm.
family members, and I think information like this is so important so people know that they're not alone in their journey. I think
Right.
that there are a lot of people out there that are really ready to help. Any advice that you could give, kind of from your own caregiving journey?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say don't underestimate how much support and care you're giving. So honor that and think about what you might need to help you support yourself so that you can support your loved one. Talk to others who might be, you might have friends who are in the same situation. You might have your own informal network and lean on them, but also call out to the elder care locator, for instance, or the Alzheimer's call center, because they can give you, more specific support, and it can really make a difference. Like one example, when I was caring for my loved one with cancer, was I called the American Cancer Society, for instance, and they, to be able to talk to a nurse, for instance, and get some really helpful information made a big difference. And so there might be those other types of organizations that you may want to call on too, that are maybe specific to if your loved one has a specific type of disease that they're dealing with.
We know in the work that we do that so often a caregiver actually puts their own needs on hold, on
Yep.
self-care, own medical needs in order to care for a loved one. And so reaching out for these resources and finding ways to help the caregiver so they can stay healthy enough to keep caring for the loved one,
Yeah.
is equally as important.
It doesn't reduce your love for that person, but it gives you that breathing space to take care of yourself so that you can keep on helping your loved one.
Thank you so much. It's just every little bit that, when we're trying to meet the needs of those that we care for, helps. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share some of these resources with our followers.
Thank you. And before we close, I should also mention that there are resources for grandparents. These same numbers, like the elder care locator, can help grandparents to find resources when they're the primary caregiver for a grandchild. And on our ACL website, we also have links to some of our resource centers that are specific to support grandparents. And Washington State has some really great programs out there too.
Thank you so much, Louise. I really appreciate you virtually stopping by for
Sure.
us today
Thank you.
to share all of the information. And for all of those watching, please do take advantage of the websites and the phone numbers that we've listed. We want you to take care of you while you're also taking care of your loved one.